now those people are left struggling to figure out what to do next. And from most accounts, the Esports Advocate has read the company has offered little or no assistance, guidance, or support for affected employees. Layoffs appear to be across the board, with many executive positions being cut as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a full-on pullout, and I feel bad for the people that, you know, obviously were excited to get there, start a new step in their careers, and
yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, boom.
And I also saw, to make it even worse.
And wait, I got another. I got one more thing. I'm sorry, because chat is saying that, guys. Actually, never mind. Go ahead. I'm not gonna touch on that point. Go ahead.
Okay. I read reports that like people were struggling to get back in the building, and like security was like being very harsh because like some people wanted to go back up files, and it's like, I'm not sure what's going on, but if you're laying your entire workforce off, there has to be some type of empathy to where, you know, if people need to go in the office and get their fucking things and back up files, that should be the last thing you should be stopping them from doing.
I mean,
that is basic human decency.
Unless there's some shit getting hidden, like trying to get covered up. I mean,
yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't imagine that that's the thing, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be the first thing. Go ahead, second paragraph.
A source familiar with the situation who asked not to be identified tells the Esports Advocate that a majority of staff have been laid off, with only Overwatch League team LA Gladiators and Call of Duty League team LA Guerrillas to remain operational until either a suitable buyer can be found for the teams or the franchise slots, or until the end of each league's respective season ends. If a buyer isn't found, both teams would be closed, a source tells the Esports Advocate.
So, I memean, that's even more insane. I mean,
yeah,
talk about that. I mean,
well, I mean, we're all so okay. There's two parts to this. They are completely pulling out of esports. Not only did they let go all back-end staff, social teams, they are done with the actual rosters. Like, they want the franchise slots sold, which is weird because, I mean, me and you know, LA Guerrillas are a heavy player in roster mania because they do throw a lot of money around. It's a desirable destination for players. I mean,
the LA market. I mean,
yeah, you can say what you want about LA, but LA has a big sports market. LA has good weather. The LA time zone is actually ideal for gaming.
Got that chronic. Sorry, I don't smoke.
This is insane. Like, this is like, because it's one of the teams that I did not expect at all. Honestly, it's one of the last teams outside of like the big three that I'd say the big three. It's one of, I did not expect the LA Guerrillas to make a move like this, and it sucks because a lot of people are losing jobs, and it's scary. I don't think. Listen, we're in a recession right now.
Yeah.
So while everyone's saying esports is scary, I 100% agree it is, but it's not just esports. I mean, a lot, like the tech industry, there are a lot of industries being affected, esports being one of them. We're just in the community, so we're going to hear a lot more talk about how esports is scary, which it is, but it's an overall recession. It's not just esports.
Yeah. But, I mean, what happens? I mean, dude, what happens if LAG just what if there's not a buyer for LAG? And right now, why would there be? I mean, I don't want to sit here and bash anything, but like, dude, if the CDL is going to YouTube again after everyone has been freaking the fuck out about not wanting to go to YouTube, if it doesn't stay on Twitch, who is going to buy that spot? So then we're stuck with 11 teams in the league. How the fuck is that going to work?
Well, I believe, okay, I'm not sure about a new season, but let's say, for example, right now they file for bankruptcy.
And then you think about the players too. What happens to like players that signed extended contracts? I mean,
yeah, no, this is an all disaster. I know in the short term, I'm pretty sure, let's say they file for bankruptcy tomorrow and they pulled out, I'm pretty sure Activision would be funding the team in the short term. I believe they would go to minimum salaries if they're not already on them, and then the league would operate the team for the time being. Now,
is that actually true?
I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm pretty sure the league would have to step in mid-season and financially support the team in the short term. I think. I could be wrong. As for contracts,
because they can't just let it go.
Well, here's what's scary. If you file for bankruptcy, I'm not sure how player contracts worked. I'm not sure if that voids.
They get ripped up. They get ripped up.
I'm not sure if the play exactly. So it's scary, man. And I feel terrible. Let me reiterate how terrible I feel, because it's one thing to talk about it and try to share the perspective. It's one thing to be those people who lost jobs. Like their life just got turned upside down, and we don't feel the emotional impact of that. Like that is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So I hope that every single hiring organization looks at the Guard and does what they can to try to help people who need a home.
Well,
because I feel terrible.
So I was going to say it gets ripped up unless the players or their agents were smart enough to put in a clause that says if the company goes bankrupt, like a guarantee clause, like if the company goes bankrupt, which I doubt they did, because I mean,
anybody saw this coming on that end.
Nobody saw it coming. So if they didn't put that in their contract, I mean, if the company goes bankrupt or they declare for bankruptcy, then I'm pretty sure the contract just becomes null and void and gets ripped the fuck up. I mean,
yeah, I mean, and I saw some people comparing this to like other esports organizations, like laying people off. Layoffs are like normal. I understand that we're big in social media and layoffs suck, but like, for example, laying off 10% of your workforce or a few employees is not the same as completely laying off every single member of your staff.
Yeah.
Like, it is a business and people are going to lose jobs just like any avenue of life or any other job. But this one's an anomaly in the sense that we're looking at a full-on shutdown from what everybody from the outside saw as a powerhouse org.
They aren't going bankrupt. They just got backed. They just backed out of all esports operations. They laid them off to back out, not because they didn't have any more money. They laid them off to back out. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but technically their arm, like their esports arm, could file for bankruptcy. I mean, we have to assume they lost a lot of money in esports because that's the only reason they'd want to back out. I mean, they probably saw millions of dollars of loss and they're not seeing their return. So they're like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, esports, I mean, esports has always been very hard to make a profit in. And I mean, I would assume right now it's still very, very hard to turn a positive in esports, just because, I mean, it's so young. It's such a, it's like a bubble, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully this isn't the popping of the bubble. I don't think it will be, just because one major player decides to pull out like this. But it's definitely scary. I mean,